Hello, this is the Adamson, and today we are going to do a cute little painting from Monet, and this one is fields. It's beautiful, it's golden fields, it's super easy. So I separated my canvas on 4 sections, and you can see the marks on the outside of this little square. And from there I am going to start sketching first, very simple, where my little areas are. The first thing I did is separated that bottom part on 2 little lines, and then I created that road that it's slightly curving to one side, but it's a little bit wider, closer to the bottom, and then goes to a point because it's going away from us. Now I am just putting in the trees, and this will be just markers where the trees will be, but later on we're gonna make them look more like trees, but right now they're just little lines. So we're gonna start softening all the lines. So the first sketch, preliminary sketch, was much harsher lines, just kind of figuring it out where they belong. And now we're gonna soften everything and make it a little bit closer to what Monet's painting looks like. And pretty much that's it, we're done. So all our elements are soft, and the next part will be starting with the sky. We have a sun, so we don't have to sketch that because we're using super transparent color, and because we are doing a Monet, we are going to do a lot of drops and lifts of the brush. So we are going to do this from the beginning all the way till the end. We're not doing any long brush strokes, so we're creating that style, and we're gonna just drop and lift, and every time we drop we deposit more paint, and we'll lift, and then we're gonna drop again. So our brush is not gonna have as much paint, so it's gonna drop a different amount of paint, and we're gonna continue until we're almost out of paint, and then we're gonna start repeating this until we're happy with what we see. So I'm using white to tone down some of the areas. So the yellow is very toned down, it's almost invisible, and we're going to do that for all the areas around that orangey yellow. But most of the colors will be the pure colors that are coming out of our palette. And of course for the sky I did mix the red, which is an orangey red, with the yellow, orangey yellow, and that will be kind of the area where I'm going to mix a lot more. For the sky, I'm just gonna use the blue that's coming out from the palette, and the same thing for the trees and the rest. And I will just go ahead and show you. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you get notifications for my future videos. And let's do the sky. So the sky will be absolutely the same thing like we just did the sun, but we are changing the color. So very transparent, and we are lifting and dropping that brush non-stop. So we have a line on the back, and I think this is either a mountain or some low hills or something like that, so we're just gonna leave it there. But the rest will be lifts and drops for the sky and filling it in. So I'm almost out of paint, but that's okay because I need the different variations of that color. We need different hues. Now it's always a good idea to have your yellows or orange dry before you start playing with your blues, because it will start creating a greenish color. So that's one thing, but we're using very little water and very little paint, so things are drying pretty fast. So let's emphasize a little bit more on our sun, a few little brush strokes here and there, and our sky will be done. probably will be the longest brush strokes for the little painting that I'm gonna do. So we're gonna start with the field. So we have a field that it's much closer and a field that it's much farther. Also the fields will have top and side. So we are going to start creating the side of the field that we're facing, that it's a little bit more in the shadow. So the color will be a lot darker and deeper. So we are going to do that in much darker orange. And our top of that field will be a lighter color, and it's going to be in a lighter orange. So we're going to get more cadmium yellow and mix it with the cadmium red, and we're going to create that color for the top. And don't forget, again, lifts and drops of that brush. Just going and repeating everything again and again. So for the field that is much closer to us, we are going to mix the yellow and the cadmium yellow, so lighter yellow and the orangey yellow, and we are going to go around and start dropping and lifting that brush again. So how do we know that we have that many fields? We have that far field and close field. The only way we know that is the separation of the colors. And you're going to see when we go closer to the end. So pushing the brush, it's almost no color on it, and just filling in the space. Now with the white, we're going to tone down the color, toning down that yellow, orangey yellow. Okay, so I'm pushing now my brush upwards towards that orange, darker orange, or the cadmium red, so I'm filling in that space. So that field has flowers, far field, I'm not sure if it's flowers or some sort of oats, who knows. Looks like a late summer or early fall. So now with almost clean brush, I'm filling in the space, but I'm still lifting and dropping, lifting and dropping. So we're creating that, not a pattern, but we're creating those tiny little brush strokes. So it's a lot of repetition. It's super easy, super fun. So you see how on the top of that closest field also we have a lighter color than when it's coming closer to us, because that will be more in a shadow, because the sun is falling. So on the front, which is way on the bottom, I am still adding a few brush strokes with the orange, yellowy orange, but that area will have another color. So I'm kind of helping myself with the orange there. So I'm adding a little darker color right at the base. I'm hiding it with my hand because I need to be right on top of that painting. But as soon as I lift, you're gonna see how the little line on the front, on the bottom part, is getting a little darker. So tiny little dots here and there. This video, it is real time, so you seeing exactly how long it will take to do something. So you're gonna add a few darker spots here and there, representing little flowers. And then we definitely want a little brush stroke here, longer than our usual faraway brush strokes, representing the streaks. Going to the left, going to the right. Blades of whatever that plant is. So now we're going to go a little darker right at the base. Darker, so that's our third color in that area. More shadow, lifting that area up with that color. Making sure it looks like it's overlapping, so I'm putting some of that color slightly down to create that zigzag. It's more like three-dimensional look. Oh, that's the cadmium yellow and cadmium red. And you see how I'm taking color, but also I'm wiping it so it's not too heavy on my brush. Add that color a little bit here, kind of color goes around beautifully. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually creating the background of what's coming, just on that little area. And now we're gonna go with the green. So for our trees, we are going to do a few different colors, and the first one I'm just following those sticks that we made earlier, those little lines, and I'm just dotting all around, a little bit wider on the bottom and very skinny on the top. That's it, nothing else. And that's going to be our first layer of the trees. Now with a little bit cleaner brush, just wet a little bit, I'm kind of dabbing around and giving a little bit more of a weight on the bottom part of the trees. And dotting it again. It's much darker color. Not as many dots. So we are on the shadow side of the trees. That's why the trees that are closest to us are much darker. And then the trees that are farther away, they seem like more yellowish green. So we're going to create a few little streaks there. But how easy, and as soon as we put the trees in, the paintings start coming together. It's almost like that's what it needed, a few little trees. I'm running out of color here, but I'm gonna continue because we will have different variations of greens. So they're almost kind of connected, but not. And far, far away. So I'm going to add a few greens here and there. There's always greens. And now we have even more depth into that field. We added one more depth. I'm going to add a few on the path. A few streaks. A few dots. And it's looking almost complete, so let's add the last few things. And that's going to be the grass on the bottom. So we're starting with a brush, bottom of the paper, just pulling it upwards, and start with a lighter color of green. Whatever green makes you happy, use it. A lot of the times I will either mix green with yellow, or I'll mix blue and green to create like a more woodsy green, more soft green. Not too much blue in your green. I'll take that away with yellow. Super soft painting, super relaxing. Super easy. So we have sky, we have the trees, we have that field on the top, the orange field, then we have the field on the bottom that it's closer to us, and then we have that path taking us somewhere. Another variation of that green. Same exact thing. So I'm following the brush stroke. Now we're doing brush strokes on the foreground, and I am following the element, growing it from the bottom, growing it up and away. So my brush goes up and away from the canvas to create that pointy end. And I try to go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, some in the center, so it's not just following one direction, because it doesn't seem like there is winds. Our trees are standing straight, our field looks like it's standing straight, but very little left here. just sitting and looking at that and kind of trying to feel what those artists were thinking. Were they walking on those paths and finding that area, or they're gonna go walk on that path going home before the sun completely disappears? Few more dots for our trees, just a different variation of green, more yellowish green, which makes it more to look like transparent so we can see through those trees to this foliage. And just because we had 3 or 4 different green colors, it looks more three-dimensional. So we have the shadows, we have the midtones, cats parts that are like highlighted, so perfect. And our tiny little painting, a little bit from on the back representing hills, mountains. Let's do this one. Little red, just a little help here. We can go without it, but why not? We're just gonna touch up a little bit. We're having too much fun. Let's add a few little flowers here and there. But pretty much that's our painting, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you get notifications for my future videos. Let me know how your painting turns out, or if you want me to paint something particular, I'll be happy to do that. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer if I can. I would not have the traceable available for this painting, it's way too simple. Unless somebody wants it, let me know. I usually do those absolutely free and post them on my Facebook. No problem with that, but pretty much that's it. So a few little brush strokes here and there, you can finish the video, but I am going to be quiet until the end. And that's it. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.